Hi, and welcome to Tips on Drawing Likenesses. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist in the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. So today I'm going to be talking and giving tips on drawing likenesses. The video you're going to watch, I have taken from a feedback video that I've given to one of the people who I coach. I've taken out the critique part where I was going over some stuff with the person, and I only left the example or the teaching moment or whatever you want to call it, where I kind of show the process of drawing a likeness, because the person I was coaching was asking me about drawing likenesses because we were drawing portraits and faces. So the difference between what I tend to show you here on the channel and what you would receive, for example, if you were taking coaching from me, would be that I would give you some sort of exercise to do, and then you would complete the exercise, and then I would go over it, over your specific drawings. And then that is that's what you're really paying me for. You're not really paying me for any like tutorial stuff, because I could just send you to a YouTube video that I did about explaining how something is done, and that would be and then I would have you do an exercise from that. But the real key, the thing that really takes up my time, and I really work individually with a person, is going over their specific um, uh, um, the specific skills they need to work on, and then I go over them. I give them feedback on how to improve those very specific things that they need to work on specifically, right? The information that I'm sharing here is so universal that that anybody can pick up the tips and attempt to improve. But if you really want to improve, you want to get some feedback on your stuff so that you can iterate faster, right? That's the idea. So that's what the coaching, that's the difference between what you get from my coaching and what you're going to see here, where all I'm doing is an example of the next step, or a thing to work on, right? So that's what you're going to watch. You're going to just watch an excerpt from an example that I gave this person on how to try to get likenesses. And so I realized that this information is universal and useful. So I isolated this chunk of the feedback video where I did this, and I'm going to share it with you. So it does end abruptly, like right. I'm talking and it just goes bonk, and then it just ends. So just realize that that's going to happen, because I am just isolating this little clip of information that I think is going to help more than just the person I was addressing at the time of this recording. I'm going to try to mine as much of these kinds of tips and videos from the coaching that I've done over the years, if I could find it, because I've lost a lot of videos. I had a video. I had a hard drive that I had all the video feedback that I had ever done, and it crashed. It broke, and it was exterior hard drive. It just died, and I lost all those videos. So, but I've recently found a bunch of videos that I never that I still kept in a hard drive. I was like, oh, here's some. So I'm gonna just rummage through them to see if there's any little gems of information like the one I'm sharing now, that I can share on YouTube without, and I could edit out the coaching stuff and just isolate like anything that might be useful. And this is one of those videos, and I can't believe I actually did a likeness info thing. I put so much work on these coaching feedbacks things. I mean, they usually go from 1 or 2 hours of feedback. It just takes a long time to do the coaching stuff. So okay, so without any further ado, here's the video. When it comes to doing a likeness, the trick is measurement, and this is painstaking. So I just kind of gave myself a head shape. It's not accurate. It's not perfect. It's just a shape. And then I try to start putting. At first, at least for me, I try to eyeball um, the body parts. So the top of the brow. I mean the top of the head here. We've got the brow. We've got the eyes are going to be in here somewhere. The nose is going to be here somewhere. And the mouth is going to be here. And so at this point is when I would have to start measuring. At some point, I have to start measuring. Um, I have to. I need some. I need something uh, to get started. I need placement to start with. Just anything so that I can gauge where I'm going. Um, and so then with my pen, I can't show it to you because I would have to film myself doing it. But it's the equivalent of doing that thing where you stick out your thumb and then you're measuring. So the digital version of this that I can show you, so you can see it, would be to this is the one side of the eye, the other side of the eye, and then I go one eye length away, and it cuts short a little bit here at the end. So I come in here and I measure and I could already see that this side of the eye is not in the right spot. So I would have to make an adjustment. Oops. And that's not quite. It would need to be right about here. there. So that's how far apart the eyes are. Okay. Oops. So let's take a look at this. So we got this eye apart here. Okay. That's about right. Got that. Then we got that. And then we got that. Let me take a look at that. Okay. How far down is the nose? Well, we've got the eyes. So I need a point of measurement. So in this case, because we can't really see the top of his head, the closest point of measurement would probably be here, this area here. And let's do the eye to this area here. So it's what we're basically looking for. Let's just get a rough pencil, it'll just be easier to control. What I'm looking for is that to that. So we got this eye line. If we had an eye line here, it's from the top of the head to this to the tear duct. Here's where the tear duct is. We go down to where the tear duct is, and it goes all the way down here. So the nose. So we get to the mouth from the tear duct to the top of the head, but then the nose is like about there. So we can do the same thing here. We'll say that to be the tear duct. So notice my mouth is off. So I would have to make an adjustment. But the nose would probably be, let's take a look at what we measured here. This should really be in a separate layer, so that when I move the other one, this one doesn't move. But okay, so that's about where the upper lip is. So let's take a look at our version here. So that's the bottom of the mouth would be here. And the nose would be here. So I was off. And so then we've got this happening here. What's this space? This space needs to be represented. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to take this eye measurement. I'm going to take this R. Actually, let me just duplicate this layer because I'm making it too complicated, or not too complicated, but unwieldy here. Okay. So I've got this eye shape. So I just duplicated the layer, so this is getting a little weird. So this shape here, but I've got this. This is the length of the eye that I've already figured out. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the nose here. Okay, I'm going to put it right here at the tear duct. Okay, so it's an eye. And a fourth down from his. Okay. So we'll do the same thing here. It's about an eye and a fourth. So did I get it? Is this... I think it's probably about here. So we're trying to be as precise as possible, and this is how you get the likeness. Now you saw me not do any of this before. It's because sometimes I've been practicing just eyeballing it. I'm just now using a regular pencil. This is what I tend to do when I just do it with regular pencils and I'm doing my own paintings. When I'm not using figure drawing tools. But I'm thinking about it this way. So remember that. I'm going to have that open so that you can see what I'm thinking. This is this shadow shape here. I'm thinking about how this shape is going into the skin here. And this is a shadow shape. That is that plane there that I'm drawing. And it comes out, and there's a stair step here. And I'm looking at this shape, this white shape. I'm trying to capture that white shape. And I'm seeing what this is happening right there. There's a white shape. There's a shape of light right there. I'm looking at this. How what what shape that makes. This is a really good way of measuring whether or not I'm getting accurate or not. And if this shape looks like that shape here, I think then you know that you're getting somewhere, that it's looking precise. It's a tear duct here. So we know that this is the bottom of the nose. Where does this line up? So like here, this corner of the eye goes down and it comes down here. What is this shape doing here? And can I duplicate it? Everything is what we're doing is we're everything. How does one thing relate to the other? What's this space here? Is this the same size here? There's a little white shape right here. So white shape here. This is the tear duct. There's a black shape here. That's that plane of the lid. Then we've got the eye. And then what's this white shape doing? You got to capture that white shape. Then there's a gap of white right here. And then it turns into this plane right there. And then there's another, and then not only does it turn to that plane, but then you see this plane here. And I want to try to capture that shape as best as I can. Like, so I think I may have made the nose not long enough, because I think no, that's right. Just doesn't seem right here, that this shadow shape. It seems like there's more space between the bottom of this and the bottom of and the lip here than, so I'm gonna make an adjustment because I think my measurements were off. Because I keep looking back and forth between. where does the edge of this eye, and it comes down here compared to this. So it's like somewhere in the middle. It's where this mouth ends. Then we've got this edge here. So it doesn't quite seem like I'm getting the likeness yet. I'm starting to rush through this a bit, because I don't want it to take too long for me to. I think you're beginning to understand what I'm thinking when I'm doing this. I mean, even this side you would want to measure and try to get as accurately as possible. But then hopefully what you've got once you've if you've done the measuring correctly, then hopefully when you put in all the blacks, it'll start coming together. Sometimes you just kind of have to trust in the process and hope for the best. And then when and you think you're messing up, but maybe you've got it. And then it needs a little bit more finesse for sure. But I think that you get the idea at this point. I'm not gonna get too precious about it here. But the idea here overall, it's just measuring. It's comparing uh, your uh, your your drawing to the source, and if parts are off, that's when things are too close, too far apart. Um, that's when things don't look right. So, for example, it looks to me like I made this nose way too small. I should have um, trusted in the measurements, and I think his nose is longer than the nose that I ended up drawing in the end, um, and it doesn't look right. I keep making it. There we go. Just a touch longer. And then I think that this is much longer than it needed to be. And I'm just looking and comparing, just going back and forth. What is and likenesses in and of themselves are um, their own skill set. It's a skill in and of itself. Getting likenesses. It's one of the reasons why I didn't make a big deal about whether or not you got the likenesses or not, because it's extremely difficult. That's why we're just trying to find the the shapes. So yeah, like I would have to work on this and go back in and measure again and make sure that everything, because I know that even this drawing that I started measuring some things with, and this is one of the things that I kind of find annoying with digital, is that it's difficult to measure things digitally because I'm using my stylus right now to measure, and it's difficult. It's close, but it's not quite. And I think maybe I may have stretched the nose out too much this time, and then I don't know. I would have to go measure every single little nook and cranny on this guy just to make sure that I. That's why it's a pain in the neck. I hate drawing likenesses because um, you got to measure like crazy. That's why I just met. I'd rather just go at it without even measuring anything and see if I can. That's it's one of the reasons why when I did the first pass um, for the drawing that last time, that I just kind of I winged it because I wasn't sure if because sometimes if I just mess around and scribble and doodle and just kind of do this sort of thing, I could get a better likeness. But doing a perfect likeness is kind of tricky in and of itself. So, but you would have to go in there and do a lot of measuring and all that other stuff. That's really what separates a good likeness from a bad likeness, is how well you execute the measuring. Because essentially what you're doing is you're trying to get the proportions of the character right, so that ideally whatever you do, you can just go over on the and everything should line up, And let me see. So let's see how close I got. Oh, I can't really see it. I could shrink it. No. I got pretty close. Wow. I totally got pretty close. I don't know why it doesn't look as much like him as I wanted to. That's pretty close. Look at that. I got the proportions and all that. Maybe this is a little off here. And this could be bigger. Oh, I see. I see. So, yeah, I see one. See, it's like the little subtle things. Um, like this forehead. Originally, I had it right, and then I second guessed myself. Um, I got the measurement of the eyes right. I got the measurement of this nose after I stretched it. Pretty close. Pretty, but the shape of this is a little off. I should have measured it more, and I probably would have nailed it. If I had done a pendulum line straight down here, I would have been able to see that this is off. Yeah. So, a good way to check is to do exactly what I'm doing now. Is going once you do the measuring um, without putting the your drawing on top of the face, on top of the photograph, but doing it freehand and measuring it out yourself the hard way. Um, then what you can do is then you can do exactly what I just did, and check it and see how close you got. Like where did was it off, where wasn't it off, or like that and stuff like that. So if you really want to practice likenesses, which is something that I don't do nearly enough, um, then what you do is exactly what I just did was like you just sit there and measure everything, and then after you're done, check it by putting your drawing on top of the photo, and seeing where you were on, where you were off, what did you do, how can you improve, um, and yeah, okay. So that's what I would say about getting likenesses. Likenesses is all about the spaces in between. It's all about the measuring. It's extremely, excruciatingly time consuming um, at first. You get better and better as you do it. Obviously, I'm not there yet myself. Sometimes uh, I'm better. I hit it, and sometimes I don't, and that's inconsistency is how you know that whether or not you've mastered something or you haven't mastered something. But at this point, what we're dealing with is just edges and shapes and planes and at likenesses. Let's not worry about likenesses yet right now because it takes forever to get a good likeness. But if you can get the shapes down in a very cool in a very good way, then you're like this. If you can just break down the shapes in the right way, it'll go a long way to making your paintings look interesting and good. Um, um, because what we want eventually, what you're looking for to get good at painting is this shape breakdown, the shape breakdown of anything. It could be a tree, it could be a anthropomorphic character, it could be a cartoon, or it could be a human being like this. But this is what we're training our eyes to see is this stuff and this stuff. Okay, because we're trying to see through a complex shape into its simplest forms, and then, if possible, into its more complicated forms. Okay,